The time is 2 p.m. You're watching yet another edition of Market View ERS Text Talk right here on Eswatini TV. I am Nancy Lesitole, glad to have you on the program. Today we want to understand withholding tax, as it is essential for anyone responsible for making payments. Whether you're a company, a government entity or an individual, failure to withhold tax, remit or file correctly can result in penalties and of course additional tax. To help us unpack what withholding tax is, who is required to withhold, the applicable rates for residents and non-residents, and the responsibilities of payers, we'll sit down with the Eswatini Revenue Service, speaking to everything you need to know to remain compliant. But first, our business stories. In our business stories this afternoon, government has declared small and medium enterprises as the engine driving the economy. To keep that engine running strong, of course, the Small Enterprises Development Company, SEDCO, has launched a nationwide drive, or rather training, whereby they're traveling across the country to equip entrepreneurs with essential business skills. Different topics have been selected for each area on the tour. But what informed these choices, and how can Emaswati who want to start or grow their businesses get involved? We're now joined by Mtobisi Mabuza, training coordinator at SEDCO, to tell us a bit more about this initiative. Mabuza, thank you very much for your time. Good to have you in studio. So what specific gaps in the entrepreneurial system would you say then necessitated that SEDCO, kind of runs the program?
Thank you for having me. Once again, my name is Mtobisi Mabuza. Greetings to the viewers at home. SEDCO, basically, as we've just said, the mandate of SEDCO is just to make Swazis become entrepreneurs all over Swaziland. So we've assessed that in most cases, especially the youth, most of them do want to start business, but they do not have the know-how. So that's why we started the initiative. In fact, we've been doing business trainings all over Swaziland. We're continuing on that mandate to conduct these business trainings all over Swaziland.
I note that with the trainings, it's different topics for different locations. What informed such a decision? Is it based on the local economic activities when you look at the entrepreneurial landscape, or it's a study that the SEDCO administered and figured these were the kind of needs or entrepreneurial demands in every area?
Thank you. As I've just mentioned, that it's an ongoing training. Basically, we've been doing this for years. So normally we go over Swaziland doing these business trainings. Per training, per session, what we do, we usually do a pre-assessment evaluation, and also after that training session, we do a post-evaluation training, which then foretells where we get to get the information, which trainings would they prefer next time. So that's why, looking from our schedule, we've got different trainings in different towns. It's being foretold by the data we have from our previous trainings. Yes.
Can you fill us in on some of the causes and why they are so relevant to SMEs? Why the crucial to SMEs?
Okay. Mainly our trainings, we've packaged them into two. Some trainings are for pre-startups, meaning to say those businesses or those entrepreneurs who are still willing to start a business but they haven't yet started, and other trainings are for already existing businesses. So I'll make an example. For pre-startup trainings, we do what we call business awareness training, where we encourage, we go over, in fact we are running a program at Tinkundla level right now, where we do these business awareness trainings per Ingundla. We're targeting at least per month we have one business awareness training per Ingundla, where basically we work with the Ingundla through Bobcopo. They organize the youth, especially we're targeting the unemployed youth, to start up businesses because, as we all know, the issue of employment in Swaziland, yeah. So what we do there, basically organize with the Induna and Nkundla, and then we conduct this business awareness training. Usually it's a one-day training. It's free. The one we're conducting at Nkundla levels. Yes, we do have other 3-day trainings and 5-day trainings. Those ones, yes, we do conduct that, but mainly for the youth, we're focusing on the business awareness in the Nkundla centers.
You've highlighted how difficult it can be to study business. You've also touched on how you are targeting young people. And when I look at this group, the common problem is access to finance. So does participating in this training initiative, does it improve their chances to access funding or investments as well?
Yes, definitely, most definitely. The reason being, as I've just mentioned, that before we conduct a certain training, we do what we call a needs assessment. We do find the needs of that particular group. Let me just say they want access to finance, as you just mentioned. We do talk about how to run a business. We would offer trainings like bookkeeping, how to record, how to run a business generally, business management, how to write a business plan, which are the requirements that are needed by financiers in Swaziland. So basically, after us training them, they're at a better chance of them getting finance. Yes.
And in terms of business survival and growth, what's the benefit for them after the training?
As I've just mentioned, with different kind of trainings, it depending on the need for that particular group. But then I'll make an example with record keeping. Most entrepreneurs in Swaziland, they hardly, especially the small entrepreneurs, their main issue is record keeping. They do run the business, but they do not keep records. So after the training, we ensure that they're able to keep basic records, and also we do follow-ups after the training to see if the training was effective. Are they, which in most cases, most of them, they become now be able to keep records, and their business grows in that sense. Yes.
Record keeping is relevant to an existing business. You've talked on how you are also targeting aspiring entrepreneurs, the pre-startups, of which one of the elements to that is a business plan. How does this training speak to these young people, these young entrepreneurs having bankable business plans that whenever they approach different institutions, those institutions are able to see these ideas as fundable?
Okay, as I've just mentioned, the pre-startups, with the trainings, let me just say that person has no idea how to run a business. We start from what is a business, how to manage it, how to run it, what is entrepreneurship. After that, we teach you how to run it. So, please repeat the question once more. Sorry.
How do we ensure that these young people do not only just attend the training just for participating, but also for those that do want to start a business, they need to have a bankable business plan, something that institutions can find worthy investing in? Okay.
When it comes to that, we do teach them the requirements needed by finances, like with the business plan. We do have just a training, a course on how to write a bankable business plan. If that whatsoever client or entrepreneur is failing, we do also offer services where we as SEDCO can compile the business plan for you according to the requirements required by finances. So by so saying, once you encounter with our training showcase, chances are high of you getting finance, because we teach you from how to run the business and the requirements required by finances.
Right. Mthobisi, thank you very much for your time. We'll leave it here for today. That was Mthobisi Mabuza, who is the training coordinator at SEDCO, speaking to us about the SEDCO's entrepreneurs training that is currently ongoing or is yet to start countrywide. This is Market View, ERS Text Talk. The show continues after this.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. Discover just how far you'll go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience.
Hello to all the viewers of Eswatini TV in the kingdom and beyond. Eswatini TV is regulated by the Eswatini Communications Commission through the Broadcasting Code and Broadcasting Guidelines. Under these instruments, the station commits to broadcasting information and news that have been fact-checked, programs and content in respectful language with no elements of hate speech, violence or sexual activity. If you hear any unsuitable content on this channel, you have a right to voice your complaints with the station management. Should you not be satisfied with the response or action taken, you can escalate your matter to the Communications Commission at PO Box 7811 Babani. Call 2406 7000 or send an email to info@esccom.org.za. For more information, visit www.esccom.org.za.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. Discover just how far you'll go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. With the ERS today, we focus on a very important topic for all those responsible for withholding taxes. To help us understand, my guests are ERS Director, Communications and Marketing, Ndobego Manana, rather my apologies, and ERS Manager, Taxpayer Education and Information, Cebo Lenkosi Matlalela. Ladies, good to have you both in studio. Perhaps we could start with you, Cebo. What is withholding taxes and who is required to withhold taxes?
Good afternoon, Notsile. Good afternoon also to our viewers. So yes, today we are zooming in to withholding taxes. What are withholding taxes? So we refer to withholding taxes also as retention tax. This is a legislative requirement for the payer of an income to withhold or deduct tax on the payment before they pay to the taxpayer, and this remitted tax should be paid to the Eswatini Revenue Service on behalf of the taxpayer. So in terms of who can register for withholding tax, really any person can register for withholding tax for as long as they are making payments. This can include entities, government, companies, even trusts can be registered for withholding tax, as well as a natural person can register for withholding tax.
Is it registered for like differently? How is that? How is withholding tax registered for? If I may ask.
So in terms of how you register for withholding tax is exactly as how you register for a tax identification number, which is 18. So the same steps will follow. You'll just fill in the application form and the requirements are the same. So you are first affiliated as an income taxpayer and then you will then be enrolled into withholding tax. Then you can go ahead and withhold tax.
Fair enough. Thank you very much, Cebo Ndobego Manana. My next one is for you. How is withholding tax collected?
A very good afternoon to you, Notsile, and to our Tax Talk viewers at home. In Eswatini, withholding tax is collected by a person or a company that is making a payment. This could be an employer, a bank, or a company. And essentially the process is the tax is deducted when the payment is made, and then the payer is expected or responsible for submitting a return and remitting that withheld tax back to the ERS. The payer is also responsible for issuing of a tax certificate to the payee. So this covers the process of the withholding tax and how it is implemented in our country.
Thank you very much. Cebo, what are the types of withholding taxes in the country?
Okay, in Eswatini we have quite a number of types of withholding taxes, but they are divided into two components, being resident as well as non-resident. So we'll start with the resident withholding taxes. These include interest, and it is charged at 10% on the interest. This could be from banks or maybe even investment houses. We also have dividends, which is also 10%. It is charged on the payment of dividends. We also have rental withholding tax. Also, it is charged at 10%, and this is on rental income. We also have what we call beneficiary of trust. This one has a different rate. It is charged at 33%. Yes, and then the last one on the resident one is withholding tax on a directive to withhold tax from any person. This is in alignment with Section 59B. So everything that is listed there, all the cases that have been listed there and the examples that are put up there, we expect that a withholder will withhold the withholding tax and remit it with the ERS as per guided by the section. We also have then the section of non-resident. There we have royalties. They are charged at 15%. We also have services. These services can include consulting as well as entertainment. If you find yourself having to consult someone coming out of the country in terms of entertainment, we expect that you remit a sum of 15% of the amount that you will be paying to that individual. We also have interest and dividends. They are also kept at 15%. They also fall within the non-resident withholding tax type. We also have what we call repatriated branch profit. It is also kept at 15%. And we expect that you would hold accordingly. One other type that we have in terms of the non-resident withholding taxes is what we call management fees. This one as well is kept at 15%. Yes.
Ndobego, once withholding tax is collected, what would then be the payer's responsibility?
So the payer is quite crucial for us in terms of the process of collecting withholding tax. They play quite a key, their responsibility is quite key for us. Once the withholding tax is collected or deducted by the payer, they are then expected to submit a return on and remit payment by the 15th of the following month, and they can utilize our self-service platform, which is TaxEase. So the expectation is that the payer will access the TaxEase platform, access the withholding tax workflow, download the withholding tax schedule, populate it and ensure that the withheld taxes details are captured accurately, submit, and then make payment. So we are heavily reliant on the payer in this withholding tax process.
Thank you, Ndobego. Cebo, my next one is for you. What else does the payer have to do once they have submitted and paid withheld taxes to the service?
Okay, thank you so much, Lutsile. Exactly as how Ndobego has already highlighted, we expect that the person or company who's responsible for withholding tax should then issue what we call a tax certificate to the payee. This will be proof of payment for the tax withheld.
And Ndobego, wait, allow me to ask Cebo, is there no exemption from withholding tax at all?
I think we can look at different examples and
Okay.
then, try and align. Yeah.
And what happens to payers who fail to withhold taxes?
Okay, there are penalties charged for anyone who might remit withholding tax and fail to pay it to the ERS. In terms of how much how we charge for these taxes that are remitted, and for some reason the payer forgets to send these payments to the ERS. We have staggered the charges there. So we have 10% charged if you are late for about 30 days, we will charge you 10% of the amount that was supposed to be remitted. And if you are late by more than 30 days, but within 90 days, we will charge you a sum of 15% of the tax due that was supposed to be paid. But if you are late more than 90 days, but at least below 130 days, you'll be charged a sum of 15% of the tax that was due for the commissioner. And if it happens that you are late more than 180 days, you'll unfortunately be charged 25% of the tax that was due, that was supposed to be paid to the commissioner. We also have what we refer to as a failure penalty. That is when you have failed now to upload the schedule declaring to the commissioner who are these people that you withheld the withholding tax from. And a penalty there is 25 emalangeni per day. And we really want to encourage all our clients to avoid these penalties by doing things on time. What you can do rather is to search for information, approach the ERS. We can handhold you and guide you on how to go ahead, even to just understand deeper if I'm supposed to withhold and at what percent, and then how then do I go about administering withholding tax. We are available in all available platforms. Please do reach out to the ERS so we can handhold you in terms of how do you administer withholding tax. But these penalties are avoidable.
The key statement there is avoid penalties, do things on time. I do hope that our audience, the clients, were listening. Ndobeko, my last one is for you, the parting shot. What is your advice to those handling withholding tax in Eswatini?
So to ensure that our clients avoid these penalties that Cebo has already alluded to, first and foremost, it would be to remind our clients to deduct correctly. She spoke about different tax rates for residents and non-residents, so being cognizant of that as they're submitting their returns, and reporting on time. So submitting the withholding tax schedule and uploading that return on time, but also remitting that money back to the ERS, so making that payment on time. The deadline to note there is the 15th of the following month. And then quite importantly is issuing the tax certificate back to the payee. The payee should also have confirmation that you as the payer have not only submitted the withholding tax and deducted that withholding tax amount, but that it's been remitted back to the ERS. And then lastly, just staying up to date with any rate changes that may have been implemented. In 2024, we launched our income tax order that affected some of the rates that Cebo has highlighted. So just making sure that clients are aware of the current withholding tax rates for both residents and non-residents. And then lastly, we will be back next week just to unpack this topic a bit further and also just give some practical examples so that our clients can understand the entire process of our withholding tax.
Fair enough, ladies. Lovely talking to you. Thank you so much for coming through. That was ERS Director Communications and Marketing, Ndobeko Manana, and ERS Manager Taxpayer Education and Information, Cebo Lenkosi Mahlalela. Today we were discussing Eswatini withholding taxes. For now, we'll go for a break. After that, in-house economist Sanele Sibia is on standby. Stay tuned.
To all the viewers of Eswatini TV in the kingdom and beyond. Eswatini TV is regulated by the Eswatini Communications Commission through the Broadcasting Code and Broadcasting Guidelines. Under these instruments, the station commits to broadcasting information and news that have been fact-checked, programs and content in respectful language with no elements of hate speech, violence or sexual activity. If you hear any unsuitable content on this channel, you have a right to voice your complaints with the station management. Should you not be satisfied with the response or action taken, you can escalate your matter to the Communications Commission at PO Box 7811 Babani. Call 2406 7000 or send an email to info@escom.org.za. For more information, visit www.escom.org.za.
kude lesinye isikhathi ngaphandle kwalesi
abaresearche bafunze.
being risky it means ukuthi nalokuwa kwayo kulula
nathi kufuna sente ukukhicita lokusemndeni.
To connect your smart TV, start by connecting your TV aerial or antenna to the port at the back of your smart TV. Step 2. Switch on your TV, press the menu button and navigate to settings. Step 3. From the settings menu, select channels and input and press OK. Choose channels, then select Channel Scan. Step 4. In the Channel Scan menu, select Manual Scan. Set the frequency to 570,000 kHz, then press Search. Note: ensure the tuner mode is set to antenna, not cable, and the channel type is set to digital, not analog. Happy viewing!
Welcome back for our market analysis segment. In-house economist Anele Sibia is on standby for us. Mr. Sibia, thank you very much for joining us. We're just less than 3 minutes to go. It's the fourth trading day for the week. How are markets reacting today?
Thank you, Natsile. And a good afternoon to you and the viewers. So the US, we are seeing a bit of an upward movement in terms of the stocks that given the growth prospects that we are seeing in the US. So we have the Dow Jones Industrial Average, up 129 points. The Nasdaq Composite up 875 points. And the Standard & Poor's Index up some 38.09 points, driven by those, growth figures and the earnings data that keeps coming in. Coming into Europe, what we're seeing there is a bit of an adjustment, but markets remain in an all-time high level with the FTSE 100 topping the 10,600 mark for the first time in history. And we have the DAX losing some 216 points and the CAC 40 losing 67 points, largely because we're seeing the tensions between the US and Iran really really doubling up, and the news we are seeing come out of that where the US has said Iran has not moved on any of their red lines, so that tells us that it's going to go a bit far, and that shows in the price of Brent crude. But in Asia, we are just waiting for Prime Minister Takaise to appoint a cabinet movement, and we're seeing that there's no trade in Shanghai and in Hong Kong as well. And then in terms of South Africa, that adjustment, the penduluming, commodities are somehow pulling the Johannesburg Stock Exchange down because, the price of gold is getting a bit volatile. So markets are somewhat adjusting to figure out what the equilibrium is going to be. And in Eswatini, we've not seen any change. Gold is up above the 5,000 mark, given those those US-Iran tensions. Brent crude oil is up to above the $70 per barrel. We've last seen these figures way back in late last year, where we saw those 71 type of levels. And then coming into currency, the Lilangeni is weak against all major currencies in today's trade, largely driven by that, minerals type of fragility that we are seeing. Thank you, Natsili.
Thank you very much, Sanele Sibia. There were some of the latest in markets. Otherwise, this has been Market View ERS Text Talk. Thank you very much for staying with us. Until the next edition, take care.